Good day, everyone. I am Ma'am Corinne, your online math tutor today. If you have difficulties in understanding the module and answering the learning tasks in general mathematics, I am here to discuss to you in detail the given problems and examples in Module 1 for Week 1 about the topic Functions as Model. Functions can often be used to model real-life situations. Identifying an appropriate functional model will lead to a better understanding of various phenomena. A function can serve as a simple kind of mathematical model. In this module, you will learn how to define function, represent real-life situations using functions, including piecewise function, and last, cite significant application in the different fields of specialization. What is a function? A function is a rule that assigns to each element x in the first set of values exactly one and only one element f of x or y in the second set of values. To understand this definition, let's have these scenarios. In the first example, we have here each student gets one desk. One student is paired to one desk only. This type of relation is what we call one-to-one. Brenda bought apple, orange, and banana. Brenda is being paired to three fruits, apple, orange, and banana. This type of relation is what we call one-to-many. Two kids are asked to share one bread. A girl and a boy are paired to one bread only. This type of relation is what we call many-to-one. Which of these examples or which of these scenarios is an example of function or are examples of function? Is it one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-one? Kung babalikan natin yung definition ng function, ang sabi doon ay each element in the first set is paired to one and only one element in the second set. Dapat yung element na ka-pair ng first set sa second set, dapat isa lang. So here, ang example ng function dito ay one-to-one, which is each student gets one desk. Two kids are asked to share one bread, which is the relation many-to-one. Yung estudyante naka-pair lang sa isang desk, isa lang siya na desk. So this is an example of function. Etong two kids, naka-pair lang naman sa isang bread. So this is an example also of function. What about one-to-many? Bakit hindi siya function? Because si Brenda naka-pair na sa tatlong prutas. Apple, orange, and banana. One-to-many is not an example of function. The element x in the first set is called domain. Lahat ng elements sa first set, ang tawag doon ay domain. What about yung elements naman sa second set? Ang tawag doon ay range. The variable x is called independent variable. When you say independent variable, that variable can stand alone. The variable y, or f of x, is called dependent variable. The variable y, or the function, we have here the notation or the symbol f of x, meaning this is the symbol for function. Y, or f of x, is called dependent variable, meaning this variable is dependent on the other variable, which is the first variable, which is the variable x. Ang variable y, or variable f of x, ay nakadepende dun sa value ng x or variable x. Alin ba dito sa nabanggit ang domain? Lahat ng elements na nasa first set, ito yung tinatawag na domain. Lahat naman ng elements na nasa second set, ang tawag dyan ay range. Here, desk, apple, orange, and banana, bread are the range. How to represent real-life situations using functions. In representing real-life situations using functions, there are 4 easy steps to follow. Step 1. What is asked? You have to determine what the problem requires you to do. Ano ba yung hinihingi sa problem? Ano yung kailangan mong sagutan? Number 2, what is given? Identify the given data in the problem. Lahat ng numerical data na pwede mong makuha sa problem ay ilalagay dito sa step na to. Step 3, what operation or operations to be used? You have to decide on the operation to be used as required. In mathematics, there are 4 basic operations. These are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So, pwede kang gumamit ng isang operation lang, depende kung ano yung sinasabi sa problem. Pwede din 2, 3, or pwedeng 4. Yung 4 na yon pwede mong magamit sa isang problem. Depende dun sa given. Step 4, write a number sentence. You have to represent the problem using the function notation f of x. Ang sinasabing function notation, ito yung symbol para sa function. Sinabi ko kanina, f of x is also equal to y. Let's have these examples. For example 1, give a function c that can represent the cost of buying x meals if a meal costs 40 pesos. So, step 1, what is asked? Ano ba yung hinihingi sa problem? We have to represent the cost of buying x meals, wherein each meal costs 40 pesos. So, ang kukunin natin, yung representation or makukuha tayo ng formula or equation para sa costs of buying x meals. When you say x meals, x represents the number of meals. Sabi dito, ang isang meal, ang cost niya is 40 pesos or 40 pesos ang isang meal. So that is your step number 1. Represent the cost of buying x meals wherein each meal costs 40 pesos. Step number 2. What is given? Titingnan natin yung data na nandun sa problem. In here, ang nakalagay, 40 pesos. Etong 40 pesos na ito, ang tinutukoy nito, ito yung presyo ng isang meal. Step number 3. What operation or operations to be used? Ano yung gagamitin natin? Is it addition? Is it multiplication? Subtraction, division, or combination of those operations? Since here, may keyword ka na ang isang meal daw ay 40 pesos, ibig sabihin, paano kung dalawa yung meal na bibilhin mo? So, what operation can you use there? Multiplication. From the keyword each. Some of the problems may keyword na each. Dito naman, mas maiintindihan mo na 1 meal costs 40 pesos. So, paano kung dalawa yung binili? Paano kung 3? So, ang gagamitin natin ay multiplication. Yun lang yung operation dito. Step number 4. Write a number sentence. In this number sentence, we have to consider ang kukunin natin ay yung total cost to represent the cost of buying x meals. So here, total cost is equal to cost per meal. Magkano ba yung isang meal? Times, which is the operation, number of meals. Kung ilan yung bibilhin mo. So that's the number sentence. From the given problem, let x be the number of meals. Kasi nandito sa problem, x meals. So this is the variable na i-represent yung number of meals. And we have here the notation or the function notation or symbol. From the given problem, sinabi naman siya, function c. So this is the variable for the function. Ang pagsulat niyan is c, and then parenthesis. Yung nasa loob ng parenthesis ay yung independent variable mo or yung isang variable mo, which is the number of meals. This can be read as c of x. This one, this variable, is for the total cost of buying x meals. So, ang magiging function na niya will be c of x equals, following this number sentence, cost per meal is 40 pesos, ang kada isang meal, 40 pesos, times kung ilan yung number of meals na bibilhin. This one is the function to be used given this problem. Okay, now let's try this one. Let's try this formula. What if you'll be buying 2 meals? So, ilan kaya yung cost niya? Since na ang isang meal ay 40 pesos, and ang number of meals mo ay 2, so 40 times 2, that would be 80. Paano kung yung binili mong meals is 10? So, here, again, cost per meal is 40 pesos times the number of meals, which is 10. So, 40 times 10 is 400 pesos. 400 pesos is the total cost if you're going to buy 10 meals. So, itong formulang ito or itong function na to ay applicable in the given problem. Let's identify now which is the independent variable and the dependent variable. X is the independent variable, which is the number of meals, and c of x, or the function c of x, is the dependent variable, which is the total cost. Okay? So, depende, yung magiging total cost, nakadepende dun sa number of meals. Those are the answers, or this is the answer, c of x equals 40x, for example number 1. Example number 2. A certain ornamental plant shop in Nabwa charges 500 pesos for a yearly membership. The first ornamental plant is free with a membership, and any plant after that costs 150 pesos including tax. How much money M does a shopper spend after buying P plants and paying a yearly membership? So, step 1, what is asked? From the given, we have to highlight ano ba yung tanong sa problem. How much money M does a shopper spends after buying P plants and paying a yearly membership? So, yan yung step number 1 mo. Step number 2, what is given? Ano ba yung given na data sa problem? Ano yung mga numerical data? Yun yung dapat nating i-highlight. The first one is 500 pesos for a yearly membership. Dito sa 500 pesos, membership na yan para sa isang taon. And then, sa 500 pesos na to, may libre ng isang ornamental plant. So, you have to take note that. Kapag, kung ang kukunin mo is 2 plant, ibig sabihin, yung isa, libre na kasi nagbayad ka sa yearly membership. And then, the other plant na kukunin mo, kasi 2 yung kukunin mo, the other plant, dapat babayaran mo na siya ng 150 pesos. So, yan yung given. 500 pesos for a yearly membership. Diyan sa 500 pesos, meron ka ng isang libreng ornamental plant. And kapag kukuha ka ng, say, 3, yung dalawa, kasi yung isa libre na para sa 500, yung dalawa is bibilhin mo na. Ang isang plant na sumobra sa isa ay 150 pesos. So kung tatlo yung bibilhin mo, yung dalawa babayaran mo na, 150 kada isa. So yung dalawa, 300 pesos yun. Kasi 150 kada isa. So that's the given. Take note of that. Step number 3. What operations or operation to be used? Here, ang gagamitin natin ay multiplication since na gagamit tayo yung kada isang plant na susobra dun sa isa kasi yung isa is libre na, 150 pesos na yun, including tax. Bakit gagamit tayo ng addition? Addition kasi kung halimbawa na may pasobra or dalawa yung bibilhin mo, so magdadagdag ka ng 150 pesos kasi yan yung presyo kapag may extra ka pang kukunin na ornamental plant. Subtraction. Bakit subtraction? Kasi yung excess, kailangan mong malaman ilan ba yung excess. Halimbawa, bibili ka ng 3 or kukuha ka ng 3 ornamental. Ilan ba yung excess mo dyan? Alin dyan yung babayaran mo? Ilang ornamental plant? So, ang gagamitin mo, subtraction, para malaman mo yung excess, yung sobra. Step 4, write a number sentence. Here, since na ang kukunin or kailangan nating kunin is ang total costs sa pagbili ng plants and paying a yearly membership, so kailangan nating i-consider yung membership fee plus yung total cost of plants bought. So, ito yung number sentence mo. Sa total cost of plants, kailangan mo din i-consider yung excess kasi yung isang plant is libre na, nakasali dun sa annual membership fee. So, ang gagamitin natin na function ay m of p, nandun yun sa problem, m for the function, parenthesis, yung nasa loob is the variable p, which represents the number of plants bought. So, for m of p, this is the function, this represents the total cost if you're going to buy p plants and paying a yearly membership. Ang magiging function natin dito ay m of p equals 500. Bakit 500? This is for the annual membership. Plus 150, bakit 150 times p minus 1? Okay, simulan na muna natin dito sa may parenthesis. Bakit p minus 1? Saan ba galing itong 1? Itong 1 na itong number ay galing dun sa libreng isang plant. Bakit p minus 1? Kasi ito yung formula para makuha natin yung excess, yung sobra na babayaran mo. Say for example, ang kukunin mo is 3 plants. So paano natin malalaman yung excess? Alin ba dun yung babayaran mo na ita-times sa 150? So, say for example, 3 plants yung kukunin mo. 3 minus 1. Ibig sabihin, 2. Dalawang plant, yung ita-times mo sa 150 na babayaran mo, na kukunin mong ornamental plant. 150 times 2, that is 300 plus 500. So all in all, ang babayaran mo is 800 pesos using this function. What about kung ang kukunin mo, magbabayad ka ng yearly membership at ang kukunin mo ay 4 na plants, ornamental plants. So here, ang P is 4, para malaman mo yung excess, yung babayaran mo, plus the yearly membership, etong 1 ay libre na, 4 minus 1, that is 3. So, yung tatlong tanim ang ita-times mo sa 150, na yan yung babayaran mo na ornamental plant, excluding the yearly membership fee. Okay, so 150 times 3, that is 450, plus 500, so ang babayaran mo lahat-lahat ay 950 pesos. So this will be applicable in representing this problem. For example, number 2, alin ba dito yung independent variable and dependent variable? The P is the independent variable, which is the number of plants bought. And M of P is the dependent variable, which is the total cost. Nakadepende yung number of plants na bibilhin mo para, or nakadepende or independent yung number of plants bought, kung ilan yung number of plants bought, yun mag-change din yung total cost or yung dependent variable mo, which is M of P. In the previous slides, we have discussed on how to represent real-life situations using functions. Pero paano kung sa isang problem ay madami na ang condition na involved? Hindi lang isa, kundi dalawa or more than. In mathematics, a piecewise defined function is a function defined by multiple subfunctions where each subfunction applies to a different interval in the domain. So pag sinabi nating domain, yan yung x value. This function can be in pieces. Bakit in pieces? Because there are subfunctions involved because of the conditions in the problem. You can create functions that behave differently based on the input or sa domain, based sa domain or sa x value. It is also known as a compound function. So now let's have examples. Titingnan natin kung ano ba yung sinasabi kong conditions at ano ba yung sinasabi kong interval. There are steps to be followed in representing real-life situations using piecewise functions. Yung mga steps sa nauna nating slides ay gagamitin pa din natin dito. Under step number 4, which is writing a number sentence, meron ditong mga sub-steps na kailangang gamitin. Number 1, identify the intervals for which different rules apply. Number 2, determine the formulas that describe how to calculate an input from an input in each interval. And number 3, use braces and if statements to write the function. Let's have example number 3. A user is charged 300 pesos monthly for a particular mobile plan, inclusive of in here, the 100 free text messages. So, ibig sabihin, yung 300 pesos mo na mobile plan, pwede ka na doon makapag-text ng 100. Messages in excess of 100 are charged 1 peso each. Ibig sabihin, yung magsobra sa 100 na maita-text mo ay i-charge ng 1 pesos. 1 peso. Example, 105 text messages. Ilan yung sobra sa 100? 5 text messages. So, ibig sabihin, yung 5 text messages na yon ay i-multiply sa 1 peso na charge kada text. In here, represent the monthly bill for the mobile plan using the function T of M, where M is the number of messages sent in a month. For step number 1, what is asked? Represent the monthly bill for the mobile plan using the function T of M, where M is the number of messages sent in a month. So, yan yung hinihingi sa problem. We have to identify a function para sa monthly bill ng mobile plan. Yung gagawin natin na variable is T of M para sa function at M naman para sa number of messages. Step number 2, what is given? 300 pesos is the monthly charge for mobile plan and kasali na dyan is yung 100 free text messages. Ang sobra sa 100 free text messages ay babayaran mo na. Kada isang text message ay 1 peso. Step number 3, what operation or operations to be used? Ang gagamitin natin dito ay multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Bakit multiplication? Para saan ang multiplication? Since na yung sobra sa 100 text messages ay 1 peso kada isang magsobra, So, kailangan natin mag-multiply. So, kung halimbawa, yung nagsobra sa 100 ay 5 text messages, so ita-times mo yun sa 1 peso. What about bakit addition? Addition because meron ka ditong mobile plan na 300 pesos plus yung excess, yung sobra. So, kailangan mo yun idagdag dun sa 300 pesos na mobile plan. Bakit kailangan pa natin ang subtraction? Subtraction because kailangan nating i-determine yung messages in excess of 100. Yung sobra. Paano natin malalaman yung sobra? Kailangan natin yung operation na subtraction. In here, in example number 3, how many conditions are there? Ilan yung conditions? There are 2 conditions. The first condition is 300 pesos para sa monthly charge. Nandiyan na yung 100 text messages. At yung ikalawang condition, paano kung magsobra? So, yan yung ikalawang condition. Paano kung yung magsobra sa 100 free text messages? 1 peso yung i-charge dapat doon. So, yan yung dalawang condition. 300 pesos, kasali na dyan yung 100 free text messages for 1 month as your mobile plan. And ang second condition, paano yung naman yung idadagdag? Paano yung sosobra sa 100 free text messages? 1 peso yung magiging presyo nun. So to write a number sentence, we have to identify the intervals for which different rules apply. Para sa unang condition na 300 pesos, ano ang nandito sa 300 pesos? 1 to 100 text messages. So, yan yung inclusive dun sa 300 pesos. Halimbawa, kung makapag-text ka ng 50, 300 pesos pa din yung babayaran mo. What about 99 text messages? 300 pesos pa din ang babayaran mo. How about naka 2 messages ka lang? So, 300 pesos pa din yung babayaran mo. So, that's the first condition. The interval na sinasabi, 1 to 100 text messages. Second condition. Sa second condition, ang interval na dito na sinasabi, 100 and above. 100 above. Kasi yung 100 nandito na sa first condition na siya. So, alisin natin yung end. 100 above. Ibig sabihin ng 100 above, more than 100. So, when you say more than 100, magsisimula na tayo sa 101, 102, 103, 104, and so on and so forth. So, that's more than 100. So, ang nandito sa second condition, na magiging cost, 300 plus 1 peso per excess dun sa 100 messages. Under step 4, you have to determine the formulas. Let M be the number of text messages. So we have here, ang una, 300, constant na ito, wala siyang katabing variable na M. So constant na siya. Ito yung interval mo. Ang symbols natin dito, we have 0 less than M, less than or equal to 100. Kung makikita nyo dito, yung less than na symbol ay walang guhit sa baba. Yung guhit sa baba, ang meaning niya na ay equal. This can be read as less than. And this can be read as less than or equal to. Ibig sabihin, itong less than, katabi niya 0. 0 is not included in the interval. So, ibig sabihin, magsisimula ka na sa 1. That is from 1 to 100. 100 is included in the interval. So, meaning of that, ang interval niya, 1 to 100 text messages. Ang bayad ay 300 pesos. Para sa second condition naman na formula, dito 300, do not forget that, plus 1 peso each excess in 100 messages. Bakit may M minus 100? Yung 100, yung free text messages, para makuha natin yung sobra sa 100, kailangan natin siyang i-minus from the number of messages. Kung halimbawa, naka 105 text messages ka. So, para makuha natin yung excess, 105 minus 100, ilan yung excess, yung sobra? 5. So, yung 5, ita-times natin sa 1 kasi 1 peso kada isa, text message. So, 5 plus 300. So, 305. Take note, this formula is only applicable if M, or the number of text messages, ay above or greater than 100. So, ibig sabihin, magsisimula tayo dito, 101. Kasi yung symbol is greater than, walang guhit sa baba. Ibig sabihin, itong 100 hindi kasali sa interval. Magsisimula na siya sa 101, 102, 103, and so on and so forth. So these are the formulas. For the last step, meron na tayong formula. Gagamit na tayo ng braces and if statements to write the equation or to write the function. Let T of M be the cost of text messaging. Itong T of M na to, nasa problem naman. So, dapat gamitin talaga siya kasi nakalagay sa problem. So, that function would be T of M equals, ito yung unang subfunction, ito yung sinasabi kong subfunction, at ikalawang subfunction from here, from the formulas. Ang interval dito is from 1 to 100. Sa second condition, that's more than 100. Magsisimula ka na dyan sa 101, 102, and so on and so forth. In example number 3, that is the function. M is the independent variable, which is the number of sent text messages. And T of M is the dependent variable, which is the total cost for monthly bill. Nakadepende ang total cost sa number of sent text messages. Kaya ang T of M is the dependent variable and ang M ang independent variable. Let's proceed to example number 4. A tricycle ride in a particular town charges 8 pesos for the first 4 kilometers. And add additional integer, kilometer, adds 1 peso and 50 centavos to the fare. Use a piecewise function to represent the tricycle fare in terms of the distance D in kilometers. First step. What is asked? Ano yung tinatanong sa problem? Ano yung hinihingi? Represent the tricycle fare, yung pamasahe, in terms of the distance D in kilometers. From this problem, we have to understand na ang 8 pesos na tricycle fare ay para lang sa first 4 kilometers. Kung hindi naman kalayo yung iaandar ng tricycle, say for example, nasa 2 kilometers lang, ang babayaran mo ay 8 pesos pa rin. Paano kung 1 kilometer lang yung inandar ng tricycle? Magkano ba yung ibabayad mo? 8 pesos pa rin. What about 3 kilometers? 8 pesos and 4 kilometers, 8 pesos pa rin. Yan yung unang condition. Ang sabi sa second condition, na pag yung integer, yung kilometer, yung additional integer kilometer, lumagpas na sa 4 kilometers, magdadagdag ka na ng 1 peso and 50 centavos sa kada integer kilometer na iaandar nung tricycle. For step number 2, what is given? The tricycle fare is 8 pesos for the first 4 kilometers. So 1 kilometer to 4 kilometers, 8 pesos pa din yung ibabayad mo sa tricycle fare. And mag-add ka, sa second condition, add 1 peso and 50 centavos per additional integer kilometer to the fare. So that's the second condition. 1 peso and 50 centavos ang idadagdag mo kada kilometer na iaandar nung tricycle. Idadagdag mo yon sa 8 pesos. Step 3, what operation or operations to be used? So we have to use multiplication and addition and subtraction. Nakalimutan kong ilagay dito yung subtraction. Gagamit tayo ng operations multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Bakit multiplication? Because of the keyword each. Each additional integer, kilometer, magdadagdag ng 1 peso and 50 centavos. Bakit addition? Because of this keyword, adds. So, obviously, we're going to use addition. Bakit subtraction? Hindi ko na ilagay dito yung subtraction. Kasi, kailangan natin malaman paano kung sobra sa 4 kilometers. Let's say nga, yung inandar ng tricycle ay 8 kilometers. So, gagamit tayo ng subtraction para malaman yung excess sa 4 kilometers. 8 minus 4. So, ang nadagdag is 4 kilometers. So, yun yung excess sa 4 kilometers. So, gagamit pa din tayo ng subtraction dito. So, in example number 4, we have to take note of this given. For step 4, identify the intervals. Ang 8 pesos para sa first 4 kilometers. Ang second condition naman, 8 pesos plus 150 per additional integer kilometer for over 4 kilometers. So, additional integer kilometer, magdadagdag ka ng 150 kada kilometro na iaandar ng tricycle plus yung minimum na fare which is 8 pesos. Under step number 4, determine the formulas. So, let D be the number of kilometer. Yun yung distance na iaandar ng tricycle. D is the variable for the number of kilometer. So, sa unang condition, we have here 8 pesos para sa interval from 1 to 4. Integer ha? Integer. So, ibig sabihin, ang 0 dito ay hindi kasama because dito sa katabi niyang symbol, less than lang naman, walang guhit sa baba. D, less than or equal to 4. So, ibig sabihin ng 4 kasali dito sa interval na to. Ito yung unang condition that is for 8 pesos for the first 4 kilometers. D represents the number of kilometer. Take note of that. In the second condition, we have here 8 plus 150, which is multiplied to the floor of the quantity D minus 4. Ang interval niya is more than 4. So, ibig sabihin kapag yung distance ay 5 na, 6, 7, and so on and so forth, na nanditong interval, ibig sabihin, dadagdag ka na ng 150, ita-times mo dun sa excess, ipa-plus mo sa minimum na fare which is 8 pesos. Here in the second condition, kung makikita nyo, merong kakaibang symbol. This symbol is the symbol for floor function. Ano ba yung floor function? Bakit floor function? Bakit ganito yung para ang symbol niya? Bakit ganito yung symbol? Para siyang bracket na nawala yung guhit sa taas, pero merong guhit sa baba. Yun yung palatandaan nyo. Basta may guhit sa baba at walang bubong, para siyang walang guhit sa taas, ibig sabihin, this symbol is for floor function. Paano ba mag-evaluate ng floor function? So, i-highlight lang natin to. So, this symbol is for floor of the quantity D minus 4. Bakit D minus 4 yung nasa loob ng floor na symbol, floor function na symbol? Para makuha natin yung excess. Say for example, yung inandar ng tricycle is 5.5. Para makuha yung excess, yung kilometer, 5.5 minus 4, ang excess na kilometro na inandar ng tricycle ay 1.5. Okay? Another, what about yung inandar ng tricycle is 6. 6 minus 4, para makuha na natin yung excess, is 2. So, yung excess is ita-times sa 150. So, 2 times 150 is 3. Plus the minimum fare, which is 8. So, ibig sabihin, ito, 8 plus 3, that is 11 pesos. 11 pesos yung ibabayad mo. So, paano ba mag-evaluate ng floor function? Kung ang floor ng 4.2, ano ba yung floor ng 4.2? Ito yung symbol niya. Ang floor ng 4.2 ay 4. I-round down mo lang siya. Parang round down. Magfo-focus ka lang sa whole number, which is 4. Kung ano yung whole number ng the decimal or fraction, yun na yung sagot sa floor kung given ang floor function. What is the floor of 4.7? Titingnan lang natin yung whole number dito. That is 4. So, ang sagot dito ay 4. What is the floor of 5.6? Ang sagot ay 5. What is the floor of 1.09? The answer of that is 1. So, do not forget that. Bakit naglagay tayo dito ng floor? Kung babalikan natin yung problem, balikan lang natin yung problem, ang condition natin, per additional integer. Yan yung keyword. So, pag nakita kayong additional integer, gagamit tayo ng floor function. So, yan yung keyword natin. Kasi sinabi niya, additional integer. Ano ba ang integer? Yan yung mga, kasali dito yung counting number. So, halimbawa, additional integer. Ang integer na example ay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. Since we're talking about distance, so positive numbers. So, additional integer, pag may ganitong keyword, gagamit na tayo ng floor function. Kasi additional integer. Next. So, given that we are going to use braces and if statements to write the function, so let f of d be the total cost of tricycle fare. So, that is the function. Ito yung formula. So, ilalagay na natin dito sa function. D is the independent variable, which is the number of kilometer or the distance. And f of d is the dependent variable, which is the total cost of tricycle fare. Nakadepende yung total cost of tricycle fare dun sa distance in kilometer. Last example, in your module 1, for week 1, a mall charges a parking fee of 35 pesos for the first 2 hours and an extra 15 pesos for each hour, or a fraction of it after that. If you park for more than 12 hours, you instead pay a flat rate of 250 pesos. Represent your parking fee using the function P of t, where t is the number of hours you parked in the mall. In this given problem, we have to determine how many conditions are there. In the first sentence, makita natin dito na ang parking fee for the first 2 hours ay 35 pesos. Kapag lumagpas ka sa 2 hours, magbabayad ka na ng 15 pesos kada oras or minuto na ilalagpas mo dun. And ang third condition ay, pwede kang magbayad ng 250 pesos para sa more than 12 hours. So, yan yung nasa problem. Step 1, what is asked? In this problem, you have to represent your parking fee using the function P of t, where t is the number of hours you parked in the mall. For step number 2, what is given? Based from the given conditions, there are 3 conditions. The parking fee is 35 pesos for the first 2 hours. So, yan yung bayad. And, i-add na dun sa 35 pesos kapag lumagpas ka ng minuto or oras, kada oras na ilalagpas or minuto, say 30 minutes, magbabayad ka na agad ng 15 pesos plus yung 35 pesos as initial payment or minimum payment. A flat rate of 250 for more than 12 hours. When you say more than 12 hours, pag na lumagpas ka na sa 12 hours, say nagpark ka dun sa mall ng 12 hours and 30 minutes, so magbabayad ka na niya ng 250. So those are the given. What operation or operations to be used? We are going to use multiplication and addition and subtraction. Bakit gagamit tayo ng multiplication? So from the given problem, we have the keyword each. Kada minuto or oras na ilalagpas mo, magbabayad ka ng 15 pesos. Plus 35 pesos. Addition, bakit addition? Kasi pag lumagpas ka sa 2 hours, magbabayad ka ng 35 plus 15 pesos kada oras. Bakit subtraction? Subtraction because kailangan natin ma-identify yung excess dun sa 2 hours. For step number 4, write a number sentence. There are sub-steps to be followed under step number 4. In here, we have to identify the intervals. 35 pesos for the first 2 hours. So, first 2 hours, naka 30 minutes kang park, 35 pa din yun. 15 minutes, babayad ka pa rin ng 35. 1 hour, 35 pesos. 2 hours, 35 pesos. So, yun ang intervals. From 0, but 0 is not included. From 1 minute to 2 hours. 1 minute, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. So, 35 pesos ang ibabayad. 35 pesos plus an extra 15 pesos for each hour or a fraction of it. When you say a fraction of it, minuto lang. Say for example, 15 minutes. So that's 1/4 of 1 hour. 30 minutes, that's 1/2 of 1 hour. So 15 pesos na yun. Kahit pa sumobra ka lang ng 15 minutes, 10 minutes sa pag-park, 15 pesos na agad yun. So this condition is after 2 hours. Ibig sabihin, more than 2 hours. So yan na yung bayad mo. And kapag yung pag-park mo is more than 12 hours, babayad ka na ng 250 pesos. Say, nag-park ka ng 12 hours and 10 minutes, 250 na ang ibabayad mo. 12 hours and 30 minutes, 250 na ang ibabayad mo. Under step 4, the second sub-step, determine the formula. Let T be the number of hours. So for the first condition, 35, if the interval is from 0, less than T, less than or equal to 2. So ang hours or number of hours can be a decimal, can be a fraction. So yung within this interval, those are the values of T. So 35, fixed na po yan. 35, that is the fixed parking fee. 35 plus 15 multiplied to the ceiling of the quantity T minus 2. Bakit ceiling? Ceiling naman dito. Take note na kapag ceiling yung symbol, yung guhit niya is nasa taas. May bubong na siya, pero walang guhit sa baba. Ito yung symbol para sa ceiling function. Bakit ceiling? Take note of the keyword a fraction of it. So, parang i-round up na agad siya. May bayad na agad siya na 15 pesos. Kahit pa yan 15 minutes, 30 minutes, basta sumobra sa 2 hours, babayad ka na ng 15 kada oras. The interval of that is 2 less than T less than or equal to 12. Within this interval, ang pagbayad, ito na yung formula. Again, this one is a symbol for ceiling function. Bakit T minus 2? T minus 2 para malaman mo yung excess sa 2 hours. 250, that is the parking fee kung lalagpas ka na sa 12. Say for example, 12 hours and 10 minutes, 250 pesos na siya ang ibabayad mo. Let's highlight the second condition, etong symbol na to for the ceiling function. Ceiling of the quantity T minus 2. Paano ba i-evaluate ang ceiling function? The ceiling of 5.3, ito yung symbol niya, that is equal to 6. Nira-round up na natin siya. What about, sorry for this error, ceiling of 5.7? Ito yung symbol niya. Again, the value of that is 6. Ra-round up na natin siya. What is the ceiling of 1.09? The answer is 2. What is the ceiling of 5.77? That is 6. What is the ceiling of 0.5? That is 1. Take note of that. So using these formulas, you have to use braces and if statements in writing the function. Let P of t be the total cost of parking fee. That is the function. What is the independent variable here? That is the number of hours. That is t. What about the dependent variable? That is P of t, which is the total cost of parking fee. Para i-check ang pretest, there are 5 items. The instruction is, read each question carefully, then write the letter of your choice. In the pretest, nag-provide na ako ng solution, step-by-step solution per item. Then we're going to decide ano ba yung letter, kung tama ba yung sagot mo sa pretest or hindi. At the last page of your module, nandun na yung sagot for pretest, for the practice tasks 1, 2, 3, for post-test and assignment. So all you have to do is to provide solutions for those learning activities. For pretest, I have provided this one to you. For number 1, that is the problem. The answer should be letter A. Bakit kaya letter A? Yan yung sagot. Number 2. The answer is letter D. This is the complete solution. Number 3. The answer is letter C. Ito yung kompletong solution. For number 4, it's letter A. Here in number 4, take note of this keyword, a fraction of a minute. So, gumamit ako ng ceiling function. Yan yung kompletong solution. Last number. It's letter B. Ito yung kompletong solution. Now, you're ready to answer the practice tasks 1, 2, 3, the post-test and assignments in Module 1, Week 1 about the topic Functions as Model. Again, I'm Ma'am Karine, your online math tutor. Thanks for watching.